Uh, so in all three of the presentations, what you've seen is an attempt at creating evidence and an experiential anecdotal model at the same time, which I think is actually the right way to go, because unless we mix all of this and learn from both, our learnings are going to be limited. I would like to thank all four presenters for excellent jobs that they've done, and clearly this is work that does need to be done, because in the absence of this we have no literature, no evidence as to what constitutes employability. I would like to thank Vandana and the Banyan and everybody else here. I would like to thank the audience for a very engaging discussion on parts of which actually took away from the focus of this particular session, but it is a necessary discussion to have. And I'll hand over.
Thank you for your patience. I just want to conclude saying one example. I know of a person who has been mentally ill for more than 42 years. And if you look at this man, he is 100% functional in the job he is expected to perform. His father said, the only way you can be managed is to put on the treatments. He never got treatment. He is rated as the best agricultural employee or agricultural person in his panchayat, which is 8,000, 9,000 population. Now this is a good example to say early intervention leads to better functionality. Not only treatment is important, exposure to occupational inputs as early as possible is very important and critical. Not only that we should focus on challenges of sustainable employment, not only we should focus on challenges of placement and so on and so forth, what vocation is suitable to an individual, it's very critical about interventions being available, which is in the dimension of occupational function. The second factor is, I recently came back from Somalia. I came across a young man. I asked him, what is the reason you are in the hospital? He said, I was a fisherman. I lost my job 6 years ago. I developed first episode of mental illness 6 years ago. Doctor, I have not developed any problems since 6 years, but I cannot go back to fishing. Fishing was the only thing that I did. Now I have no job. So it's a uniform problem. We all know Somalia is a country which has so many problems, but stigma looms large. So stigma, denied opportunities, lack of treatment is a complex issue that we have to address, which contributes to all of these things. Right?
Subhashini Gopal, Sashikala Raj and Nivedita Shekhar, thank you very much for your research findings. I think what really has stirred this session, which was meant to be supporting evidence, is that it's thrown up more research questions. And I think that is very interesting. We can find more hypotheses, more needs for further study. For that, I'm very grateful and very thankful to our presenters. I also would like to thank the general moderation of Dr. Alok Sareen and Dr. Kishore and all of you participants who also thrown light into more interesting questions regarding whether it's employment for the mentally ill people or disability, but it also throws up more than job-like questions in our mind. With that, few words, I'd like to invite all of you for lunch. We are at 2:10 by this watch, so probably we should come back by 3 o'clock. The lunch is served downstairs on the right in the dining hall. But having said so, those of you who would like to get your experiences or some of our clients, not just the Banyan clients, but others as well. There is a slight change in the order. We will start with Dr. Ciaris on the introduction of vocational training centers in Ramanad district. Followed by this, we will have the client caregiver perspectives in accessing MNREGA and PVP schemes from Punjeri, Kanchipuram, because they've come from a long way off and they need to head back to their children and families. So we will start with these two, Dr. Ciaris, and after that the Punjeri clients. For this session, the moderators will be Mr. Amrit Bakshi, Chairperson, SA or Schizophrenia Awareness Association, and Dr. Kala, Anirudh Kala, Clinical Director, North India Psychiatric Center. Over to you, and if you can just give them the timelines.
Yeah. Including mine, and then we have two of us moderators. Some questions have also need to be answered. What I would request that each presentation should not exceed 10 minutes, between 8 and 10 minutes. And I discussed with Dr. Kala, we will take questions immediately after the presentation. And questions maybe 1 to maximum 3 questions we can have it. And after that, we will do the summing up. With all the presentations being made, they are all very distinguished speakers in their field. They have done a lot of work. They may have not many things to say, but because of the time constraint and the desire to have as many presentations as possible, little time management will need to be done. I believe this is perhaps the most important session of this program. Models that have worked, all of us know that it's very difficult to get people with mental illness employed. So problem we know, and as it was mentioned in the previous session, that we have to look for solutions. So these models which are there, some of the models may be worth adopting or replicating, so that makes this session, I think, very important. Dr. Kala will make some observations and then we will. So we can start with the first presentation.
Good afternoon to everybody. Respected Chairman, Co-Chairman, my senior colleagues, friends, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much for giving an opportunity to share some of my experience in starting a vocational training center in a rural area, especially the most backward district of Tamil Nadu, Ramanathapuram. It is not a scientific paper, but it is a sort of a sharing experience in which how an private-public partnership, if there is a better coordination, how it will work well. This is really an example. It is a sharing experience. Next. See, most of you know about Ramanathapuram. It is popularly known as Ramanad with a population of 13 lakhs. Economically, the backward, high rate of illiteracy in Tamil Nadu, a land of temples, churches, and dargahs, and yes, a land full of religious sentiments. And the population 13 lakhs, and also they have got about 11 blocks. And it is data about the health sector. Next. And totally we have got about in the available manpower the healthcare delivery of this district. We have got about 283 doctors and also paramedical officers is 699. Next. As said, the reality situation in Ramanathapuram district, when we started the program, it was very gloomy. And also, it was not very happy to tell about these things. But one important thing we have noticed in that district is the ignorance about the psychiatric illness is very high. And also belief and misconception, even though it is more prevalent among the other areas, it is more common in this district. And lack of information about the modern methods, and in the entire district, at that time before the advent of before the introduction of the district medical program, we don't have even a single psychiatrist. Now we have got about 2 psychiatrists. So absolutely the people have to travel some 200 to 300 kilometers to get a psychiatric consultation. Even to have it is easy to have a darshan of Lord Venkateswara, but it is very difficult to have a consultation with the psychiatrist in the district. That was the reality. And also stigma. About Professor Gurubadi, he was highlighting this one. Stigma is very high in that area. And lack of resources, money, transport, and all those things are very high because it was the most backward area. And another unfortunate thing, there was a number of wandering lunatic, especially homeless mentally ill, was more common in Ramanathapuram district because this is a land full of temples and churches. Most of the people from the north, and they will be coming to Ramanathapuram, and the relatives, they left them alone and they will return safely to their native house. Next. So all these things lead to the mushroom growth of the asylum. And again you will be surprised, you will be shocked to know that in Ramanathapuram, at least there were more than 50 to 60 asylums were operating in that area. And the mentally ill were tied in chain and kept inside the hut. Even today, when Vandana made a visit the last month, she saw some cases were tied in chains. Next. And there were many number of asylums. And also, you will be surprised, you will be shocked to know that these asylums were managed by illiterate people, or who the people who have recovered from the illness are once upon a time who are the inmates of the asylum. So it is an ideal example of rehabilitation because they are doing a wonderful job. Next. And the condition of the asylum was very horrible. The patients were living in a poor condition, absolutely no sanitation, no toilet facilities, no drinking water, nutrition food. It is a very, very rare thing, and also lot of human rights violations. In a single hut, more than 100 patients were tied in 2 rows, and in that the hut, no the discrimination, absolutely no discrimination, and everybody is, they will treat everybody in a equal manner, absolutely no sex discrimination, nothing. And this group consists of men and women, all types of categories are there, and the people during the daytime they were sent for picking. Next. At that time, the Yerwadi tragedy took place. That is 2001, August 6. And even though it was a tragedy, today morning I have already told you it was a real turning point in the mental health history of this great country. And in which 28 persons among the 47 who were chained in the name of the treatment were died, and remaining inmates sustained severe burn injuries. Next. Next. And these are the state of affairs. At least it opened the eyes of the civil activities and social activities. Next. 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 And immediately the government took certain strong stern actions, and they closed all all asylums in a record of 2 weeks. And we have admitted all the standard and chronic mentally ill in the Institute of Mental Health Field Park, and we have handed over the manageable patient to the family members. Next. In this background, district mental health program has been launched, and it was implemented at Ramanathapuram district in 2001. And fortunately, at that time, Dr. Vijay Kumar, today morning, he was the present commissioner town planning. He was the collector Ramanathapuram. Really a dynamic person, proactive person. It was very fortunate for me to work at him. And in which, after the introduction of the district mental health program, we started giving training, treatment facilities, mobile clinic. Next. Next. And for the first time in our country, rehabilitation has been incorporated with the district mental health program. It was the original idea initiated by the then district collector S. Vijay Kumar, who was then the main principal for the success of the whole program. Next. I am in the field of psychiatry for past 40 years. Even though I am an allopathic person, even though I am the strong believer in the medicine, medicine alone will not give you a cure. Medicine and rehabilitation will give you a better cure. Next. Do the person with psychiatric disability need rehabilitation? Definitely yes. And treatment aims symptom reduction, rehabilitation aims skill development. Next. And why rehabilitation? We are talking about rehabilitation. What is the reason? What is the meaning? Minimize the disabilities in the area of socio-occupational functioning, reduce the symptomatology, reduce discrimination and stigma, maximize the patient's asset, improve the family support and social support, and improve the social competence. That is why we are addressing the rehabilitation needs. And most of the person with schizophrenia needs long-term hospitalization and care. Rehabilitation in a daycare center and a residential care center improves the recovery. There's a quick recovery after rehabilitation and reduces the residual disabilities of the slowness, amotivation, apathy and social withdrawal. And because of the quick recovery, we are able to discharge the patient very quickly. And also it facilitates the early discharge and enhance the process of reintegration with the community. Right. And disability with it causes at the self-care, next. It affects the communication, next. Household activities, family role, marital role, and the social contact, occupational role, behavior emergencies, next. So all these, because psychiatric illness, it affects in all the areas. Now, can we measure the disability? Yes, we can measure the disability after the advent of the ideas. So now we are able to assess and quantify the disability, and also we have got certain methods to do the rehabilitation. Then we thought that why we should not do a rehabilitation program in Ramanathapuram district. All these things made us to start a daycare center and vocational training center in Ramanathapuram. Next. For starting a daycare center, you need money, but that is a last priority. You need three important components, that is dedication, devotion, and determination. If you have got these three bills, first three bills, automatically the money will come. Next. Daycare center, it is a place for people with mental illness to spend their day in a special learning and protected and a compassionate environment. Members attend the daycare between 9 to 4 p.m. to gain vocational and social skills that help them to reintegrate with their family and community. Daycare also brings respect to the caregiving family members of those affected with serious mental illness. Because in the psychiatric illness, one peculiar thing is, not only the patient suffers, but the entire family suffers. Even the patient, they are living in their own world of imagination. They are living in their own world of fantasy. But unfortunately, the surrounding people, father, mother, sister, they are the worst sufferers, and they are carrying a lot of psychiatric morbidity. So for them, it gives a big relief. And at daycare center, mentally individuals is motivated, encouraged to socialization. Prime therapy of the daycare center is ensuring the opportunities for socialization, productivity, and a dignified quality of life. Another main objective of the daycare center is to ensure that the person recovering from the mental illness does not have a relapse. Next. And the vocational activity is the most important therapy for a person with mental illness. The individual must be oriented and directed towards a meaningful work-based engagement. It should not be a mere activity-based engagement to keep the person engaged. One of the important lessons we have learned after starting the vocational center is all activity, it should have a meaning for the patient, it should have a meaning for the family, and also it should have a meaning for the therapist. But unfortunately, in most of the vocational centers, what I have noticed is candle making or sambrani making or cover making. That is the three important golden the letters in the rehabilitation of this great country. Everybody, whether he comes from the rural area or urban area or semi-urban area, whether he comes from hell or anything, immediately he will be asked to cover or envelope. The patient will be wondering, say, I am a postgraduate, I am coming from the city. Suddenly this person, suddenly he asked me to prepare a cover. What happened to him? I think he needs treatment. Patients start wondering about the whole thing. So this is the meaningful activity, and the vocational training, which is also oriented towards therapy, must provide a structured routine of work, would be more than just something to do. The idea of vocation for mentally ill person is initially a sense that even he or she is an independent adult who has things to do, and that his or her work plays an important role. That is a more important thing. Most of the psychiatric patients, they have low self-esteem, low deflated ego. See, after seeing the work, when they got appreciation from the environment, their ego becomes boosted up, and also they have developed a sort of confidence. So vocation should be tailored to suit the background of the affected individual in terms of his or her education, position in the society before the onset of the illness. My dear friends and ladies and gentlemen, you should know one thing. You are giving them training in one trade, and you should think, after discharge from the center, what he will do. This activity, whether it is going to be useful for him or not, you should plan, and according to his needs, according to his future needs, you should tailor certain activities. Next, to start a vocational training center, one important thing is first to sensitize the policy makers, especially the important the lawmaker. Especially, for example, in the district collector is the most important person, and other officials are more important thing. And combine all the welfare programs offered by various government departments, form a package and present to the community. For example, in Ramnath, what we have done is medical advice and medicine is given by the health department. My district psychiatrist, he makes a weekly visit to all the vocational training center. He examines the patient there and he gives the medicine. This service is done by the health department. National identity card, maintenance grant and free bus pass is being given by the district differently able welfare office. And vocational training for persons with disability and their caregivers are organized with the financial assistance of district rural development area. Guardianship, financial assistance to start the microeconomical activities being supported by National Trust and New Delhi. District Revenue Department is giving old age pension, free land pattas for the landless mentally ill and mentally retarded and their families. Promoting the sustainable livelihood for persons with mental disability through the self-help groups under the Puduvaadu Thittam. So, we are looking for the appropriate program which is existence in different departments. We are combining all these programs and we are forming a package and we are presenting to the community and it is well received. So it is very, very important. You should come in. So otherwise, depend on one department, health department, or DDRA. It is totally, it will be meaningless. Next. And in the vocational training center, we have almost in all taluks of Ramanathapuram, we have opened full vocational training centers. Next. And multivarious functions. Next. And we have identified a lot of NGOs, like-minded, sincere NGOs, and we have entrusted the responsibility of running the training centers. Next. So the benefits to the trainees from the government side, we are giving free bus pass, maintenance grant, free medical care, free land pattas. NGOs, what is their responsibility? Family education, work period, social security, placement, and free food. Next. So we have started the vocational training center. Now you can ask, what is the peculiarity? In what way it is different from the other vocational training center? That is why I am telling. A committee was formed comprised of district psychiatrists, family members of the differently disabled, opinion leaders and representatives from the district differently able welfare office. A mobile psychiatrist visiting the center, reviewing the condition of the training, distribute the medicine. Family members playing an important role. We are giving much importance for the family members. Initially we have started. Then family members, they will usually accompany us. Then family members will be given more importance. Slowly, we technical person, we will take the back row. Ultimately, as time passes, we will become a technical advisor and the family members, they will take up entire responsibility. So the family members are playing a vital role in convening the committee, manage the vocational training center. Family members are involved in the promotion, sale of the goods manufactured by the mentally disabled person. Profits were shared among the trainees. A part of the profit was utilized for improving the center. District administration director purchase. Next. So what is the impact of the training? Family members gain the social dignity, family fellowship organized, a vast active change in the community. Next. So for family members, we have started a family association, caregivers association. Next. And the caregiver, they wanted to see a microeconomic activities, which resulted in central group. And another thing is, the training is meaningless without a proper job opportunity. On trial basis, we have initiated a special employment exchange and organized job fairs in persons with disabilities in the Ramanathapuram district. Next. So this special employment exchange is another innovative idea. You can start a special employment exchange in your own area with the family members and significant people, and about which it is a different topic. Anyhow, from a single vocational center, you can have an accessory activities. Next methodology. Next placement job. Next. Final. So this is again I want to summarize the whole thing. If you have got a will, if you have got a good leadership, and definitely if you have got motivate the policy makers, definitely there will not be any problem in implementing any government program. So it is an ideal example of private-public partnership. Thank you very much.
Graduates and more than that, they would not like to do, sambrani making and agarbattis, then what kind of occupational therapy you give them in the daycare center?
See, the one important thing, you assess the disability. For example, in some cases, self-care is the most important thing immediately should be addressed. In some people, communication skills. And in some other cases, other interpersonal problems. See, all those things that you assess there, which problem should be addressed first, then depends upon that you can form the package for an individual oriented one. And also, first, self-care, communication, behavior problem, then slowly, then graded wise so that you can improve the skill activity. And also, before planning everything, after 6 months training, after 9 months training, this training, in what way is going to be useful from this training? For example, if the person has got the computer background, I think we can train them in the computer area. For example, if the person is from agriculture background, we can train them the agro-based rehabilitation. That is why I stressed one important point, need-based rehabilitation, meaningful rehabilitation, meaningful for the patient, therapist, and as well as for the family.
What is the different domains that you give training in? How many people have been employed and what is the general outcome of it? Because whatever you have said, it's in the realm of textbook. So I just want to know.
In each center, we are addressing about, we are giving training for 30 persons. And in the Ramanathapuram, in most of the people, they start lot of economic activity. And